call yourself a man? You know you're a lying, low-life, motherfucking gambling degenerate prick. You know that's what you are?
Well, hello you degenerate fucks, and welcome to The Degenerate Gambler. It is Thursday, the 31st of March, and just back with another episode. Happy to be looking at a full fixture list this week. I'm off the international break. I did take a few days break. I didn't do many bets the midweek of the international games. I think I only bet about £10 at the weekend, which is not a lot for me. I did do a bet on Tuesday night. That's the only night I've done a bet at midweek again. So I've had a decent break, but looking forward to getting back into it. I think that's the last international break till the end of the season, so that's a good thing. So looking at last week's bets, I didn't really have a main bet because I'd done a fiver on both of them, and actually one of them was a free bet, so I didn't even invest much money in that one. But the free bet that I did was teams to win, which was Mansfield, who won, AFC Fade, who were beaten, Brackley, who were winning 1-0 right till the death, and ended up drawing one each. Eastbourne Borough, they won, and Kilmarnock won. The overs, 4 games up, 1 game was 1-0. It was late, I think it was the 70th minute or 70 odd minutes before the goal was scored. So, never really got a proper sweat. But yeah, it was Sheffield Wednesday versus... Who were they playing? I haven't wrote that down. But Sheffield Wednesday, it was up. Torquay, Weymouth, Kettering, Chorley, Havant, Waterlooville, Billericay, Hampton and Richmond versus Dartford was the one that beat it. So 4 up there. So yeah, that was a bit disappointing. Never really got a sweat. I did a bet in the evening. Belgium to win, Gibraltar and Faroe Islands over 2s, England to win, Holland to win, and Qatar, Bulgaria over 2s. Belgium were winning. Ireland came back, drew 2 each. Now that game, if I'd have known before the game that Roberto Martinez didn't play any player who had more than 50 caps, I probably wouldn't have backed that. Gibraltar, Faroe Islands, it probably would have been a good pick for a draw, but I just thought with 2 teams that aren't great, they'd probably score against each other. But it was 0 each. England won, Holland won, and Qatar, Bulgaria was up as well. So that was basically the extent of my weekend's betting. Looking at the favourites now, obviously a lot less games this week in the sort of top English leagues. I usually go to the National League, but I've went down National League North on National League South this week to try and get more games on. That's the matches I was betting on because there wasn't as many in the sort of top leagues. So let's see, League 1 there was 6 games, 4 favourites, no draws, 2 outsiders. In League 2 there was 12 games, 9 favourites, 1 draw, 2 outsiders. National League 11 games, 7 favourites won, there was 2 draws, and there was 2 outsiders. In the National League North, 11 games, 5 favourites, 4 draws, and 2 outsiders. In the in the National League South, there was 9 games, 5 favourites won, 3 draws, and only 1 outsider. So in total, that was 49 games, 30 favourites won, 10 draws, and 9 outsiders, which actually was 61%. So realistically, there was a bet out there. 60% of favourites won. Looking at the numbers there, so 4 in League 1, 9 in League 2, 7, 5 and 5 in the other leagues, which was quite high. So maybe a missed opportunity there that I didn't get a bet up. So yeah, in the 60% marks where you want it, and that's where it was, but unfortunately I couldn't pick a winner. So anyway, looking at this week, I've picked 2 bets as usual. I do also have an alternative team. I think I've got this set. I think I'm set with the 5 that I've got, but there was a team that just kept creeping in where I kept saying, will I put them in, but I haven't. So if you want to mix and match, take one of my teams out and add this team or whatever, or do all 6, totally up to yourselves. But so the first team I picked at the weekend is Wickham. Wickham are at home to Doncaster, and they're 4-9. Again, I haven't had time to do the decimals, so if you do decimal odds, you can calculate it yourself. So Wickham at home to Doncaster, 4-9. Currently form, Wickham are sitting 8th in the league at the minute. They started the season so well, but they've sort of had a bit of a dip, and then they're back on form. They've got 11 points out of the last 15. Doncaster only got 2 points. Wickham's home form is not great. They're actually 8th in the home table. And Doncaster have a worse away record, though. They're 22nd in the away table. Again, Wickham's home form is it's decent, but they won their last game against Fleetwood. They drew against Rotherham. That's a team up the top of the league, so not a bad result. They beat Cambridge 3-0. They lost to Wigan, again, a team at the top. And they drew 5 each with Cheltenham, which was obviously a crazy game, so it's hard to say much about that. But Doncaster's away record is only 1 win in 5, including that was 4 games ago. They drew their last game against Fleetwood. Sorry about that. I had to take a wee quick break there. So Doncaster's away form, not great. A couple of draws, a couple of defeats, and a win in the last 5. But looking at the head-to-head, Wickham seemed to beat them most times at home. They beat them 3 times in a row. Some of them in 2019 or 2017, so it's hard to go back that far. But that's my first selection. So next selection is Halifax. Halifax are at home to Wealdstone. Halifax currently sitting 4th in the league, Wealdstone 17th. Now, form on this, both sides in reasonable form. Halifax 9 points, Wealdstone 7. That's out of the last 15. We're looking at recent form. So Halifax only have 9 points out of 15, but they've won 4 home games in a row, whereas Wealdstone have only won 2 and lost 3 away from home. So even though they're in good form, they're still losing games. If I even look back, they're on a run there of 5 defeats in a row. Then they beat Barnet. Then they lost 2 in a row. Then they beat Maidenhead. Then they lost last week to Stockport. So very patchy form. And I just think Halifax's pretty consistent home form there, 4 in a row, should be enough to get them through. And the price on that one is 7-11, which again is just slightly better than 1-2. Next is another National League game, and it's Solihull Moors versus Maidenhead, and they're 4-7. Currently Solihull are sitting 5th, Maidenhead 18th. Solihull have 11 points for 15, Maidenhead only 3. Recent form, Solihull 3 wins and 2 draws at home in the last 5. Maidenhead 3 away defeats in a row, a win and a draw before that. So Solihull have won 3 in a row just in general form. The last 2 games they played were away from home, and they won both of those. And Maidenhead have only won 1 and 5 in total form. So with that one again, just looking at recent form, home form, Solihull should have enough to beat them, especially at a short price of 4-7. Next, another team that I picked last week, and I'm picking them again because they seem to be on a pretty good run, which is Eastbourne Borough. Currently win 5 in a row. They're playing against Concord, who have 8 points, so they've decent form as well. But home form in the last sort of few games, Eastbourne Borough have won 4 and they lost 1 in their last 5 at home. Concord have 1 win, 3 defeats and a draw in the last 5. They did win their last game away from home. So again with this one, I'm looking more at the home form. And the fact that Eastbourne Burgess seem to be on a bit of a roll, win 5 in a row, I'm hoping they can make it 6. The price on this one is 9 to 10. And as I say, home form for me, out of the 5 games I've picked, there's 4 at home, and that was the 4th home one. My last one is I've went to Spain, and this is a price that I'm slightly baffled by, and it's Real Madrid. Real Madrid are away to Celta Vigo, and they are also 9 to 10. Now, Real Madrid, they're third in form, so they haven't got the best form. They're 12 points, which is pretty good. You know what I mean? But Barcelona and Atletico have won their last 5, including beating Real Madrid. But Real Madrid do have the best away record in the league, and Celta Vigo are 14th in the home table. Recent results, Celta Vigo very patchy, 2 draws, 2 defeats and a win, and they've only won 1 then in their last 5. Madrid have won 4 and lost 1 in their last 5, and that one they lost was obviously against Real Madrid, so they'll be looking to bounce back. In away form, Real Madrid's away form hadn't been great. They'd lost 2 and drew 1 in their last 5, but they did win their last 2 away. And Celta Vigo's home form, not bad either, 3 wins and 2 draws. But again, looking at this one, every time Real Madrid have played them away, beat them 3-1 earlier in the season, or this season, and in 2019 they beat them 3-1 as well. So, I mean, even if you want to go back further, 2018 they beat them 4-2, 2017 they beat them 4-1. So, pretty good form from Real Madrid away against Celta Vigo. Price on that one again, 9 to 10. To me, that is a huge price for Real Madrid against anybody other than maybe Barcelona or Atletico. You know, that to me is a huge price. So in total, that bet comes to 12 to 1. So 10 is going to get like 130 something. Now, the alternative team that I looked at, and maybe I'll wiggle them into another bet somewhere or the other, it was Tranmere. Tranmere at home to Carlisle, and Tranmere and Carlisle have had a bit of an uptick in form. They've actually better form than Tranmere. They've got 9 points in the last 15. Tranmere only 7. But Tranmere have the best home record in League 2, while Carlisle are sort of mid-table in the away table. And even in recent home form, so Tranmere obviously they've only got, what I say there, 9 points from 5 games. They've won 4 away or 4 at home out of the last 5, and the other game they drew 1 each with Port Vale. Carlisle's form has picked up, no doubt about it. They have 3 wins, a draw, and a defeat in their last 5 away games. So I'm still thinking about that now. I'm looking at it and going, do I fancy that more than I fancy one of the other 5? And I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. I might, do you know what? I might do an early bet and throw Tranmere in, and even though it's a 3 o'clock kickoff, that if I get all my early bets up, then I'll be waiting on Tranmere. So I don't know, but I do fancy them. And as I say, they were 5 to 6, so good price. So that's that. That's say 12 to 1 plus an alternative. And if you swap that alternative out with one of the lower price ones, the price will obviously bump up a good bit. You know, if you take out Wickham or you take out Halifax or Solihull, who are all, you know, odds against, 4 to 7, 4 to 9, 7 to 11, which is, you know, basically close to 1 to 2. And replace it with a 5 to 6, which is close to evens. It's going to bump the price up significantly. So, anyway, do with that what you will. So now move on to the overs. And I actually found it pretty hard picking the overs this week because any of the games that I looked at that I fancied, like would have been my first choices, the prices of them were absolutely terrible. I mean, 8 to 15 and 4 to 9, and you need evens or close to evens with it if you're going to do a 5 or bet on this to get anywhere near a decent return. 120, 130, 140, depending on the odds altogether. But so again, I did have to shop about a bit for this, and I've made 1 or 2 maybe risky, maybe not risky selections, but I'll run through them anyway. So QPR versus Fulham is 8 to 11. Plymouth Oxford 17 to 20. Hartlepool Salford 6 to 5. MK Dons Shrewsbury 27 to 20. And Chelsea versus Brentford, even money. Now, for me, the risky selections there are Well, there's probably three of them. The two that I would really fancy are the first two, QPR Fulham and Plymouth Oxford. Those, to me, are, I don't want to say nailed on, because anything can happen, but those have a good chance, very good chance. But Hartlepool, Salford, they have been scoring goals recently, but Salford can be like this, where they win 1-0, get beat 1-0, win 2-0, get beat 2-0. It happens a lot. Hartlepool form up and down. They scored over 2 goals. It was 2 each on Tuesday night or Wednesday night, Tuesday night. They drew, so a 4-goal game. So that one, yeah, some scepticism with it. Then MK Dons Shrewsbury. Again, with this, MK Dons do score goals. Shrewsbury are in better form than they've been. They're actually looking like they might possibly get out of the fucking sort of bottom of the league. Where are they currently? Let me have a look at the table here 1 second, then I'll tell you. So Shrewsbury are on 48 points, so they're sitting sort of 15th, right? But in form, they are 7th, 10 points. So they've been going well, and they've scored 10 goals in that time, only conceded 2. MK Dons scored 9 goals, conceded 3. But as I say, it's Shrewsbury are, traditionally a smaller club, and usually down towards the bottom of the league. They've had a bit of form, which has pulled them up in the mid-table in the last sort of 5 games. But anyway, that one I think could be a bit dodgy. And then the last selection I made, which was always look at the Premier League first, was in this game the last selection I made, which was Chelsea Brentford, because I really didn't see any other games that I fancied. And even this one, although I fancy it, I'm looking at it going, this maybe be a 3-0 Chelsea. That's the only way this gets up. I don't see Brentford scoring. Now, I hope that they do, and Chelsea beat them 2-1 or whatever, or fucking Brentford beat them 2-1, I don't care. But when I'm looking at it, I'm just saying to myself, Chelsea, here's Chelsea's last 5 scores. 2-0 against Middlesbrough in the Cup, a team from the league below. They only beat them 2-0. Alright, they're away from home. Now, they beat Lille in the Champions League 2-1, which was over 2s. They beat Newcastle 1-0. They beat Norwich 3-1, okay, and they beat Burnley 4-0. But Chelsea have been known all season. A lot of 1-0s, a lot of 2-0s, a lot of 1-eaches. They're not big scorers. And then Brentford, lost 2-0, won 2-0, lost 2-1, lost 3-1. So there's half their games. So, yeah, to me, it's a risky selection. It is. I hope Brentford score first and then the game's on. But anyway, that's that. That comes to 32-1. So, fiver on that one it'll be. Looking ahead to next week, we're back to basically good midweek fixtures. We have 5 games in the Championship on Tuesday, 7 games in League 1, 2 games in League 2, 5 games in the National League, 6 games in the National League North, 1 National League South game, 2 Champions League games, which are Benfica versus Liverpool and City versus Atletico, which would be a good game. Wednesday, 1 Premier League game, 3 in the Championship, and then 2 Champions League games, which are Chelsea Madrid and Villarreal Bayern. So the Chelsea Real Madrid game will be a good game. Thursday night, there's 4 Europa League and 4 Europa Conference. So that's your midweek for next week. Obviously, we're getting in the later stages of the European competition, so there's less games, so harder to pick a bet from, but we'll scrounge, we'll get something out of it. But anyway, that's it for this week. Just leaves me to say, if you are doing a bet, good luck and happy punting.
Here, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, thanks. Let me find out you fucked up. I'll leave you wherever I find you.